In today's YouTube video, I'm going to be taking you through 8 habits that are absolutely killing your gains when you're trying to grow your chest, the most important muscle group of all when you're at the beach. The first thing that we need to stop doing in order, and this is more of an advanced tip, in order to press as much as possible, is start your dumbbell chest press at the top. So this is specifically for dumbbell chest press. We're going to cover incline presses soon, but flat dumbbell chest presses. This is how most people will start. They'll get their dumbbells, they'll kick up one at a time, like this, and then they'll start pressing from the bottom. Nothing wrong, you say. Press, 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 finish, do this kind of awkward thing, get up, and then finish. Or dump the dumbbells on the ground. Let me show you how to fix that bad habit that you weren't even aware of. What we're going to do is start the press at the top. We're going to put the dumbbells all the way to the end. I've shared this tip before on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll get Dan to put it above there where I'm looking, and then follow me. Instead of doing one at a time, we're going to do both at the same time. Stand up, rock forward, and then knees to chest, and then we're going to start from the top. And since we start at the top, we can actually get a better first rep out. So we start with the eccentric, and then we press up. If we're starting at the bottom, down here, this is a really hard place to start from. And I think there's a reason that when you do bench press, you don't start at the bottom, because it'd be way too hard to press when you're at the bottom of the concentric. When you're at the bottom of the eccentric rep, you want to start at the top. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, Brock, you're doing 17.5s. Let me show you how to do it with 50s, so I can prove that it works with heavier weights. So come with me. I can't say I'm very warm, so I'm not going to press it, but I'll show you that it works. So dumbbells at the end. We want to make sure that our arms are nice and straight as well. Get a little rock forward, knees to chest, and then we're up. Oh, let's do a rep, come on. So we're here, lowering, 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 and then pressing up. And then when we finish, we bring our knees to chest and fall down. That's tip number 1. Bad habit number 2 is not pressing up and in. This is what I mean. And this is only when you're doing cable presses or dumbbell presses. Dumbbell presses are going to be the most common. So if we're pressing, a lot of people will just come down, and press straight up, which is fine. But to make it even better, what we can do is actually press up and in, because our chest presses but it also flies. So I feel like this is a way to get both in. You're coming all the way down, doing your chest press, and then when you press up so your dumbbells kind of touch. And there's no magic in going like that and making them touch. That doesn't make your chest grow or chest not grow. But what we want to do is not just press up and then touch them together. You want to do it at the same time. So you're pressing up and in instead of up and then moving them in, because that does nothing. Bad habit number 3 for chest training is not going all the way down to the bottom. And I'm choosing to do it on this exercise so you can see side on that right here is the bottom of the press. And this is like if you're doing a bench press or a dumbbell chest press, we want to go all the way to the bottom because it stretches out the chest and it's in the lengthened position, which is a great place to build muscle. And we press all the way up. We come all the way down and we want to go as far back as possible with a really big chest and then pressing. But a lot of people, when they're doing bench presses and dumbbell presses, they go to here and they end up doing this. The old elbow straighteners. But this is not getting the chest all the way down, which is where we want to be to build the chest as much as possible. Yes, you cannot lift as much weight when you're doing it this way, but you're getting more bang for buck for each rep that you're doing. All the way down and then press. This is a lot of triceps and a lot of shoulders. And a lot of people actually have overdeveloped shoulders and an undeveloped chest. And I believe a lot of it comes down to training your chest with full range of motion in that stretched position. The 4th habit that you need to get out of your arsenal of tools is this. The old trampoline chest. Bouncing it at the bottom. The bottom part of the bench press, of the chest press, of the cable press, of the push-up, of any kind of pressing movement for the chest is the most important for the hypertrophy of the chest or growing your chest, which is the whole goal of doing chest exercises, apart from becoming more functional. So when we're at the bottom and we're kind of rushing that bottom part and just bouncing off the chest, we're kind of like skimming the most important part of the rep. If anything, you want to do the exact opposite and do a little pause at the bottom. So that would look like this. Coming down, really controlled at the bottom, and then pushing up. Really controlled at the bottom, pushing up. Stretching, lengthening the chest, and pushing up. If you can't handle the weight around that area, you're lifting too much. If you need to bounce off your chest to get the rep and then you kind of like struggle up, you're doing a lot of triceps, you're doing a lot of shoulders, you're not doing much chest. So smoothen out the bottom of the rep and milk that bottom part. The first 4 tips were to do with pressing. These next 4 tips, habits that you need to get rid of to grow your chest more optimally, are to do with flies, because ultimately we can break down chest movements into presses or flies. Those are the roles of the chest, or the functions of what the chest can do. And the first thing that we need to improve about our flies for most people is making the most of that lengthened position for the chest. And that's at the bottom of the rep, this part. So see here, my chest is lengthening all the way back. That's what we want. Trouble is, most of you are focusing on the fly at the end, which is the shortened part of the rep. Still important for building muscle. Coming all the way to the end, you can cross over at the end if you want to get that little bit of extra range of motion, or you can just touch your hands together. But a lot of people kind of just like go down to here, go back up. Oh yeah, just doing my chest flies. What we should be doing is making the most of that bottom position, even a little pause, and then coming up. Slow, controlled, eccentric, even a bit of a pause, lengthened position, and then coming up. The second habit you need to change for your flies is not changing the arm angle. So if I'm doing a decline cable chest fly, and I'm just going to be doing my fly like this, a lot of people come through and they bend their arm, and then they'll straighten it at the end thinking they're doing a fly. But ultimately they're kind of doing like a chest press, chest fly combination. This is like a press, and they come forward and then they kind of straighten. But with the fly, we want our arms to stay at the same angle, because if we're going from bent arms to straight arms, we're using a lot of bicep. If we keep our arms relatively straight the entire time and we fly like this, there's a lot of tension on my chest now, and then I'm using my chest to come together. Opening up, arms staying at the same angle, crossing over. Arms staying at the same angle, crossing over. That way I can't feel it in my biceps and all the tension's going to the chest. Habit number 3, I want you to consider the cable crossover as opposed to just the cable fly. What I'm talking about is our hand positioning at the end of the rep. So if I'm doing my incline cable chest fly here, I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to touch my hands together. That's the fly. But the crossover is in the name. We're going to cross our hands over, alternating which hands go above each other at the end of the rep. So here I'll put my left hand over, we're coming up, and instead of stopping here, we're going through and getting that extra shortened position for the chest. Coming down, and then my right one is going to cross over at the top like that. Now personally for me, I feel that a lot better in my chest at the top end. Obviously at the bottom of the rep, I'm still getting that lengthened position. But if I come up, the arm that goes over top, I'm getting a little bit more squeeze in that as well, and I'm alternating each time. So it's in the shortened position, we're getting a bit more of a squeeze. So if you try and like squeeze your chest, keeping your hands together like this, you can squeeze your chest. But if I go over, I can get more of a squeeze at the end. I've heard some people say it's not worth it because the bottom part of the fly is what's most important for muscle building. But I think while you're up there, going there to there, doesn't actually cost that much energy. I think it's worth it. So consider the crossover. The last habit for the flies that I want you to get rid of is not getting the cables, if you're doing cable flies, which I believe are more optimal than dumbbell flies, lined up with the chest. So as you can see here, it's kind of like at the bottom of my chest where the cables are set up. But the goal of the flies is not just to kind of like be flying up too high or flying like really low like that. What we want to do is line up the cable with the fibers of our chest. So for a standard cable chest fly, not incline or decline, we're trying to hit the fibers of the chest that are kind of just like running horizontally. So if I'm doing a fly, I want my end position here to be lined up with my chest here. See how this line, the force from the cable is going from there to there, and that's directly opposing the muscle that I want to hit, which is going across this way. So this is a optimally designed cable chest fly. You can't really see that, so I'll show you from the other side. If I was going to be doing a cable chest fly from here, I'm going here. So the cable from here to there, that's where the force is going. It's pulling me back that way. and that's pulling back against my chest, which is lining up this way. Once again, optimal. So it's going to be and look like this, coming back and lining up the cables with my chest here. And even if I'm going one over the other, like a crossover, it's still optimally aligned. So it's a little bit more of a complicated tip, but we want the line of force to be lined up with the muscles that we're targeting. And while we're here, there's another tip that I want to just throw in, a little bonus one that you can have. Dumbbell chest flies. I'm not the biggest fan because at the bottom of the chest fly, it's the hardest, which is really good, right? The lengthened position. But as we get up to the top using dumbbells, it just gets very easy. There's not much tension. But with cables, there's constant tension throughout the entire rep. So you're going to be getting more tension on the muscle, which is hopefully going to lead to more muscle building potential for your chest. There we have it. Those are 8 habits. Threw in a bonus there for you as well that you can change with your chest training. And I believe this is going to take your training with your chest to the next level. A big thing that people do when they're training chest is overdevelop their shoulders. And that's not what we want to do. When we're training chest, we want to train chest. We're training shoulders, we want to train shoulders. So this is going to really help you focus working the chest and growing the chest, which sounds really simple, but that is the goal. If you like this video, subscribe, share, comment, anything that you want to see as well. If you want to use my programs that are literally aligning with what I'm sharing, like each exercise that I have in my programs have detailed breakdowns of the exercise like I'm sharing today to help you get optimal results. The link's in the description for my coaching. If you want to see another video similar to this, it'll be over here. Thanks for watching. Cheers, mate.